Hello again, Dan Richardson here at the Chapel of the North Hills. We're continuing our 40-day challenge of reading Bible verses that everyone should know by heart. And today, on day 13, we arrive at Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. I know, it's 3 today, it's a triple. And I'm going to read it for you from the Christian Standard Bible. However, I may fall back into the King James where I've memorized it for the first time I memorized it. Here we are, Matthew 11, 28 to 30. Come unto me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. All of you take my yoke and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light. As we look carefully at this passage, there are 3 commands here, 3 things that Jesus has commanded us to do. First is the invitation, come to me. Come to me. Jesus is inviting us into fellowship with him. Come unto me. He's inviting us, that is, if we are weary and burdened. Now, anybody weary? Anybody burdened? That's all of us, I believe. That's 100%. So he's inviting all of us. And he asks you to take up his yoke. We should be hooked together with Jesus, with his task, with what he wants to do. And as we are taking up his yoke, the third command is learn from me. We learn from Jesus. We are disciples of Jesus. That means we are learners of Jesus. We find who he is. We learn more about him as we draw closer and we hook our lives into his. That is how we learn from him. And he is also in this passage giving us some reasons. Why should we learn about Jesus? Because he's gentle and he's humble. The word humble there is exactly the same word that he said in the Sermon on the Mount when he said, blessed are the meek. So the earlier translation said, because I'm meek and lowly and in heart. And so we remember this about Jesus. He is what he wants us to be. And that is, he is gentle and humble in heart. And doing so, we find rest. Kind of paradoxical, isn't it? The yoke is what we do to work, and yet when we do that, we find rest. We find rest by working with Jesus. And the reason is his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Our burdens that we carry when we come to him are replaced by his burden that is light. And our task that we saddle ourselves with is heavy and burdensome, and yet what he provides is easy. And so this is the heart of Jesus, where he tells us about his heart, saying that he is humble and lowly, gentle and lowly, meek and lowly. That's who he is, and he wants us to know about him first by coming to him. Be blessed.